Hey there, my friend. Tell me, have you ever felt it? That quiet ache deep inside, even when life on the surface seems, well, fine? You're going through the motions, ticking off the boxes, maybe even achieving things, but there's this subtle, nagging sense of emptiness, like you're watching a movie of your own life instead of truly living it. The world around you, with all its color, its noise, its constant demands, can suddenly feel a little muted, a little flat, like a vibrant painting that's somehow lost its depth. You look, but you don't truly see. You listen, but the real music of life doesn't quite reach you. Does that sound familiar? That feeling that the days are just blurring into one another, a repetitive cycle, while your heart, your very soul, is crying out for something more, something real, something that genuinely matters? It's like you've lost touch with an invisible lifeline, a connection to something infinitely important, to the very source of your being, that vibrant spark of aliveness that you know, deep down, is meant to be your natural state. You know, we've been conditioned, haven't we, to neatly categorize our world? This is everyday, that's spiritual. This is mundane, that's sacred. We chase enlightenment, we seek connection, we look for answers in specific designated places. Maybe it's a yoga retreat, an ancient text, a mountaintop, or a silent meditation hall. And those are wonderful, truly valuable signposts on the journey. But what if I told you that the most profound secret, the master key to unlocking the deepest insights, to touching the very heart of universal wisdom, isn't hidden away in some remote corner of the earth, guarded by 7 locks and keys? What if it's right here, right now, in front of your very eyes, in every breath you take, in the sunlight warming your skin, in the gentle patter of rain against your window, in the most ordinary, unassuming object you can imagine? What if everything that surrounds you, this tangible world we so often take for granted, isn't just stuff? What if it's an encrypted message, a love letter from the universe, brimming with wisdom and guidance, just waiting for your focused attention, your open heart, to decode it? We often find ourselves running after complex spiritual techniques, searching for hidden knowledge, when the most profound truths can be so breathtakingly simple, so readily apparent that we walk right past them, completely missing their quiet, persistent glow, their constant loving presence in our lives. There's an ancient understanding, a wisdom almost forgotten in the hustle and bustle of our modern lives. Everything you see, everything you hear, everything you touch can become a portal, a gateway into another dimension of experience, a space of the deepest possible connection with the source of all that is, with that unnameable presence that infuses everything, that is pure love and consciousness. Just imagine for a moment that this entire sensory world, this reality we usually perceive as just, well, reality is actually an ongoing, intimate conversation between the universe and your soul. Every object, every event, every encounter is a word spoken directly to you. Yes, you. And today, I want to share with you an incredible way to learn how to read this magnificent living book of the world. I want to show you how to transform every single moment of your life into an act of sacred awareness, how to lift your mind from the everyday to the extraordinary, not by escaping the world, but by profoundly shifting your perception of it. We're going to explore how the most common everyday things can become not obstacles, but powerful tools, potent instruments for purifying and elevating our senses, if we can only learn to shift from their surface appearance to a deeper contemplation of the greatest mystery, the manifestation of the infinite in our finite world, the unfolding of a life infused with wonder and compassion, the sacrifices made to awaken humanity, and the ultimate triumph of spirit over the limitations of form. You might be wondering, how is that even possible? How can the ordinary become sacred? Allow me to walk you through this, step by step. First and foremost, when you look at any object, any phenomenon in this world, take a moment to remember that the great source, the absolute, is its ultimate origin. It was this source that brought it into being, that endowed it with its unique qualities, its beauty, its purpose, and its place within the grand tapestry of creation. That's the first step, to see beyond the mere form to its invisible essence. And then, Then allow yourself to truly feel the immense, almost incomprehensible goodness and wisdom embedded in the fact that this very unknowable beginning, this singular source of all existence, the architect of galaxies and the painter of the tiniest atomic structures, chooses to express itself in such an incredible diversity of forms, to condescend, as it were, to be tangible, visible, audible, to incarnate within the human experience, to journey through joys and sorrows, to illuminate the path to liberation, even allowing the shadows of ignorance and separation to temporarily dim its light, only so that this light might shine all the brighter in the end. Just pause and consider that depth, that ocean of love and wisdom that underpins everything. And when this realization truly touches your heart, the entire world around you will begin to speak to you in a brand new language. Perhaps you see tools, a hammer, a screwdriver, a simple rope. Let your mind be pierced by the thought. These objects, or things like them, have historically symbolized hard labor, limitations, and sometimes even the suffering endured on the path of conscious evolution. That rope isn't just a rope. It can remind you of the binding ties of old habits that restrict your spirit. That hammer isn't just a tool. Its impact could echo the great constructions of the past or symbolize the blows of fate that forge and temper your character. And in this reflection, there's no gloom or despair, but a profound reverence for the strength of the human spirit, for our innate ability to overcome, for the kind of transformation that is born directly from our trials. Do you live in a modest home, or do you see simple dwellings around you? Let your heart journey to the understanding that true value isn't found in external glitter, but in the inner light. Recall the great sages and teachers of humanity, many of whom chose simplicity, demonstrating that the spirit doesn't require palaces. And you'll grasp that true greatness lies in a humble heart and a rich soul. Is it raining? Oh, let every drop drumming against your window pane remind you of the tears of compassion shed by enlightened beings witnessing the world's suffering. Or let those drops symbolize a cleansing power, washing away the dust of distraction and illusion from your perception, bestowing freshness and renewal. Each raindrop can become a symbol of the universe's gentle sorrow for our perceived separation, and simultaneously a promise of new growth and fertile abundance. Do you see the ocean, the waves, boats upon its surface? Think of the boundless ocean of consciousness, its unfathomable depths and mysteries. Remember those who fearlessly set sail on this ocean, discovering new horizons of the spirit. And this sea will become for you not just a body of water, but a symbol of your own inner journey, your capacity to navigate the ship of your life through both storms and calm. The stones beneath your feet, or the mountains of Sayar in the distance, let them remind you of the ancientness of our earth, of the eternity against which your own life unfolds. Let them speak to you of resilience, of the unshakable foundation of fundamental truths. The very ground you walk on, let it whisper to you of its generosity, its power to nourish and sustain life, of the deep, intricate connection of all living things. The sun, bestowing its light and warmth, let it bring to your mind the inner sun of your own soul, that radiant source of light and love that exists within each and every one of us. And if an eclipse occurs or clouds obscure it, let this remind you of the temporary nature of obscurations, that the light is always there, even if we can't see it, and that behind every darkness, a dawn inevitably follows. The water you drink or use to wash, let it remind you of the ceaseless flow of life, its fluidity and constant change, and the necessity of purification, both physical and spiritual. Let it become a symbol of adaptability, of the ability to take the shape of any container without losing its essential nature. When you eat or drink, remember that all existence is energy, constantly transforming from one form to another. Savor not just the physical taste, but also the life force contained within the food, that vital connection with nature actualized through this simple act. And let your meal be filled with gratitude for the gifts of the earth and the labor of those who cultivated them. When you get dressed, let this simple, daily routine become a reminder of the many layers of your being. Your physical body is just one of your garments. There are also your emotions, your thoughts, your deepest beliefs, And just as you care for the cleanliness and beauty of your outer clothes, so too should you care for the purity and harmony of your inner attire. If a particular voice, a piece of music, seems especially sweet and captivating, don't just lose yourself in it unthinkingly. Allow that feeling of delight to elevate you, to carry you to thoughts of universal harmony, of that music of the spheres, tuning fork that resonates at the very foundation of the cosmos. And then, even ordinary music can become a bridge for you to experience a profound sense of unity and beauty. Do you hear the noise of a crowd? Shouts, loud declarations? Let your mind ponder the cacophony of human opinions, the power of collective consciousness, both in its creative and destructive aspects. And you will feel the necessity of maintaining your inner quietude and clarity so as not to be swept away by the tides of others' emotions and judgments. When you see a beautiful face or a stunning natural scene and it captures your attention, don't be quick to be captivated solely by the outer form. Try to see beyond it to the deep underlying harmony, the creative impulse that brought it into existence. And then true beauty will reveal itself to you, not in superficial brilliance, but in the perfection of its design, in the vibrant expression of life force. Every time the clock chimes, relentlessly marking the passage of time, let that sound awaken in you an appreciation for the preciousness of each moment. Time is the very fabric from which your life is woven. Don't squander it. Fill it with meaning, with creativity, with love, and the passage of time will fill you not with anxiety, but with gratitude for the opportunity to be, to act, to grow. And generally, my friend, let me tell you, whenever you encounter a sorrowful event, whether it happens to you or to others, whenever you face grief, illness, or loss, remember that suffering is an integral part of the human experience, a great teacher if we are willing to learn its lessons. This awareness won't diminish your pain, no, but it will give it a different dimension. It will help you to walk through it with greater strength and wisdom, feeling a profound connection with all of humanity, which also journeys through its own trials. But that's not all. This incredible method of transforming your perception isn't limited to just symbolic associations. You can go deeper. You can learn to draw out profound moral and guiding lessons for your soul, for your spiritual growth, from every single sensory impression. For instance, you see things that are beautiful, exquisite, highly valued in this world, expensive jewelry, luxurious outfits, works of art. Pause for a moment and consider, all this earthly beauty, all this glamour, however alluring it may be, is merely a reflection, a pale shadow of the ineffable beauty and harmony that reign in the higher spheres of existence, in the depths of your own spirit. And these inner treasures will undoubtedly become yours if you can overcome a slavish attachment to the external, if you can look beyond the vanities of this world towards eternal values. This doesn't mean you should hate beauty, not at all. It means seeing its true place and not allowing it to obscure from you the supreme beauty, the source of all beauty. Lift your gaze to the sun, feel its warmth, marvel at its radiance. Then turn your mind's eye to your soul. If your soul is in harmony with the universe, if it is pure and filled with love, then it is capable of radiating a light comparable to the light of 1,000 suns. But if, alas, it is clouded by negative thoughts and emotions, if the darkness of egoism reigns within it, then it sadly becomes dim and cold. And this realization can be a powerful catalyst for purification, for striving towards inner light. When you look at the vast expanse of the sky above, allow your spirit to soar even higher. Direct the eyes of your soul into the boundless cosmos, into the realm of pure consciousness. Cling to it with all your heart, with all your thoughts, for it is your true home, your original nature. And if here on earth you live a life in accordance with the higher laws of being, then this feeling of unity with the infinite will become your constant companion. Do you hear the joyful chirping of birds in the trees in spring, or any other melodious music that reaches your ears? Elevate your mind to the harmony of the universe. Imagine that all of nature is singing a hymn to life, and in that moment, turn with gratitude to the source of all being, asking it to help you to tune the strings of your soul to this universal melody, to the vibrations of love and joy. And what if you feel yourself drawn to someone's external attractiveness? And this attraction begins to trouble your soul or lead you away from your higher goals. Don't panic. Don't immediately judge yourself. Instead, bring to mind that beneath this appealing exterior, this seductive facade, may lurk the lure of the ego, an illusion ready to wound your soul, to consume your good intentions. Say to it mentally, I see you, illusion. I know your nature, but my choice is clarity and wisdom, for my inner strength and connection to the source are my support. Then immediately turn to your inner center, to your higher self, with gratitude. Thank you, my inner wisdom, for helping me see through the veil and not letting me get caught in the nets of the transient. And right away, as if into a safe haven, take refuge in the space of your heart, in the awareness of your true nature. Dedicate yourself to this truth, reflecting on how many illusions one must overcome on the path to light, and how important it is to cultivate discerning wisdom and an aversion to what leads away from harmony. There's another powerful remedy against blind infatuation with the external. When such a temptation arises, quickly immerse your mind in contemplating the impermanence of all forms. What captivates you so much today will change tomorrow, wither, disappear. This sobering reminder will help you see beyond fleeting attractiveness to its true transient nature and to value what is eternal. When you're walking somewhere, with every step, every movement of your foot on the ground, think about how, in the same way, step by step, you are moving along your life's path. Every step is a choice, an opportunity. And this isn't to fall into despair at the thought of the end of the road, but to cherish every moment, to fill it with mindfulness and good intentions. Do you see birds soaring in the air with such ease, or rivers rapidly carrying their waters to the sea? Think about how, with even greater speed, time flows, carrying away the moments of your life. And let this knowledge motivate you not to waste precious time on emptiness, but to strive for the realization of your highest potential, for what has enduring value. And if suddenly strong winds rise, the sky is covered with dark clouds, earth-shattering thunder rumbles, and dazzling lightning flashes, don't be overly afraid. In that moment, remember the power of natural forces, the majesty and drama of the cosmos. Feel your connection with this element, but also your inner stability. Pray if your heart asks. Turn to a higher power with a request for protection and guidance, for the gift of wisdom and strength of spirit, to meet all life's storms with dignity. When various troubles, sorrows, trials come your way, don't forget to exercise your mind in them with edifying reflections. But the main thing you can do in such moments is to elevate your thoughts to the contemplation of the universal order and wisdom that directs all processes. Try with all your heart to accept and affirm within yourself the conviction that everything you endure has its hidden meaning, is a lesson necessary for your growth, for the purification of your soul. And then, imagine, you might even feel gratitude. Gratitude for the lessons that life presents to you, giving you the opportunity to manifest your best qualities, to strengthen your spirit, to develop compassion and wisdom. And you will be able to say from the bottom of your heart, I accept this experience as part of my journey. I trust the wisdom of life, which leads me to what is best. May the will of the universe be done, and may I be able to extract good from this. And you will see how heaviness transforms into opportunity and sorrow into the quiet strength of acceptance. When a good, bright thought comes to your mind, some inspiring idea, don't attribute it solely to your little I. Immediately turn to the source of all inspiration, to your higher self, and realizing that this thought was sent to you as a precious gift, thank it from the bottom of your heart, and this will multiply your ability to receive such gifts and bring them to life. When you are engaged in reading sacred texts, wise books, philosophical treatises, imagine that beneath every word, every letter, the eternal truth that the authors tried to express is latently present. Receive these words as if they were the living voice of wisdom addressed personally to you, and then reading will become for you a living encounter, a dialogue with the great minds and hearts of the past. If while the sun shines in the sky in all its glory, you see a shadow fall upon it, as happens during eclipses, let your heart ponder the nature of illusions, how temporary obscurations can hide eternal light. and wish for yourself and all beings never to fall into the darkness of ignorance, always to strive for clarity and truth. Gazing at the symbols of your spiritual tradition or at universal symbols of wisdom, like the lotus, the circle, the spiral, the mountain, always keep in your mind that these are reminders of your higher destiny, of the ideals towards which you strive. In them lies the power of inspiration. And if you forget your higher goals, you can easily lose your way. But if you draw strength and inspiration from these symbols, you will surely achieve greater harmony and self-realization. When you see images of enlightened teachers, sages, saints, or simply people who inspire awe in you with their qualities, turn your heart to them with respect and gratitude. Thank them for the example they have shown the world, for the wisdom they have transmitted, for the inspiration they continue to radiate. And this will help you yourself to strive for the development of these qualities within yourself. Icons or statues of great spiritual figures should remind your mind how many examples you have to follow, how many sources of inspiration on your path. They, having courageously walked the path of self-knowledge and self-improvement themselves, now point the way for you. And if you follow their example of steadfastness and love, you too can reach the heights of the spirit. When you see a temple, a mosque, a synagogue, a stupa, or any other place dedicated to spiritual practice, then among other uplifting thoughts, remember also that your own soul is also a sacred space, a temple of your inner divinity. And therefore you must especially carefully guard the purity and harmony of this inner temple, not defiling it with negative thoughts, destructive emotions, and unworthy actions. Every time you hear the sound of bells, the chanting of mantras, the call to prayer, or any other music that has spiritual significance, bring to mind the necessity of awakening, the call to inner silence and contemplation. And let the following thoughts and feelings arise in your heart. First, give thanks for this reminder of the higher. Second, enter into a state of deep respect for the tradition from which this sound originates. Third, connect with the vibration of peace and tranquility that this sound carries. And you will do very well if you tune into this wave more often throughout the day. And a few times a day, morning, evening, and midday, try to dedicate at least a few moments to such inner attunement, and you will see how it will sanctify your day. And in short, my friend, be ever vigilant and attentive to your senses. Do not allow what you perceive through them to arouse and feed your lower instincts, your destructive impulses. On the contrary, use every impression in such a way that it does not deviate you one iota from your main decision. Always and in everything to strive for harmony, wisdom, and love. Always to act in accordance with your conscience and higher principles. And for this, in addition to all that has been suggested, one important rule can be very helpful. Do not be immediately blindly carried away by anything, and do not immediately turn away from anything with prejudice, but always give yourself time for calm, firm, and wise reflection to determine how exactly you should relate to the impressions of the senses in a given case, so that it is in accordance with your inner truth and contributes to your good and the good of others. I also want to be clear so you understand correctly. All these techniques for turning sensory impressions to spiritual benefit, I've outlined them not so that you engage in them constantly and exclusively, making it an end in itself. No, that would be a mistake. Your continuous practice, your main refuge, is to gather all your mind in the depths of your heart, to abide there in silence and peace, in connection with your inner source of light. To have it as your guide, your helper, your strength in overcoming inner obstacles and outer challenges, sometimes through simple inner observation and acceptance, sometimes through actively performing acts of kindness and creation. What I've said today is like an arsenal, like tools you can use when needed, when you feel the need, when the mundane pulls you too strongly. However, undoubtedly, to cast a kind of spiritual veil over all that is sensory around us, to see in everything a reflection of the higher, this is extremely beneficial for the purposes of our inner transformation, for our path to wholeness. So, my friend, don't be afraid of the world. Don't run from it recklessly. Transform it with your gaze, with your heart. Allow every moment, every object, every sound to become for you a step on the ladder, leading to the depths of your own being, to union with all that is. Start right now. What object near you can become the first such reminder? What event from today can you reframe in a new light through the prism of this timeless wisdom? The path to an awakened, meaningful, spiritually infused life is open before you. You are standing on its threshold. There's no need to wait for a special moment, a special sign. The sign is life itself, given to you. The moment is now. Believe in the boundless wisdom of the universe. Believe in the power of your own spirit, capable of transforming everything. Believe in the beauty hidden in every flower petal, in every tear, in every smile. Your transformation, your ascent has already begun, if you will only allow your heart to open to this new vision. Go forth, and may every step you take be filled with light, meaning, and love.